Books, Brews, Dogs podcast where you can buy a book and save a dog. In this segment, we'll be speaking with a local animal rescue. Hi, everyone. This is Rebecca with Books, Brews, and Dogs, and I'm out here with Allison and Caitlin from Savingsouthtexas Animal Rescue, the primary rescue that we work with here in Austin, Texas. And we've got these two beautiful puppies with us, and we're just going to go over some things about what it takes to run a rescue. So first off, how did you guys get started?
Yeah, so we're from Victoria, which is South Texas, and there's just a big animal overpopulation issue there. So kind of our whole lives, we've picked up dogs and found strays. And so then when we were, a few years out of college, we had the opportunity to start our own rescue, and there was a need for it. So that's kind of what got us kicked off.
Okay. Oh, they're so cute. So what exactly goes into running the rescue? So I know that Saving South Texas is done by volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the money, you're a 501c3 registered. So any donations people can write off, and all of the money goes towards the dogs. So what expenses are those donations paying for?
Our main expense is vetting. That's probably 80% of our expenses for the year. And then next is transport. So we get a lot of our dogs from the valley. So we'll have to pay transporters to get them to Austin, to fosters, or sometimes we have partner rescues out of state that will take dogs. And so that's usually about $200 to $250 per dog to get them from Texas to, Wisconsin or wherever, to the new shelter. And we typically pay those fees.
And since I've been helping you guys out and been in contact with more rescues, noticing that there's a lot of transferring of dogs and cats between rescues. I cannot say the word right now. Between the rescues. So why is that?
So the out-of-state rescues, they're not usually as full, or they don't have some of the same breeds even that we have. So there are sometimes people in other states looking for a specific breed and they just don't have them. So they'll partner with rescues down here, or also they just aren't full. Like some of the shelters up north aren't full like all of ours here. And so they'll work with rescues to get, dogs, especially from smaller rescues like ours. It's useful because we have a lot of notes on them, so we can tell them exactly what they're getting. And then we worked with some rescues in Texas too. I know some people will kind of swap dogs. Just, it's a different audience. We have one that we've had for a long time. A new rescue with different followers might get him adopted right away. We've seen that happen quite a few times with our dogs that aren't getting any attention in Texas, and then they go out of state and they get adopted within a week.
Oh, nice. So it's just a way of helping them get more visibility to the right people.
Right. And like with Murphy, who you adopted from us. So he was in Austin at Austin Animal Center. But you never would have met him. You wouldn't have seen him if he hadn't been with us. So it's just kind of, it's kind of weird how it works.
So, well, it's nice that you guys are able to work together and help, transfer the dogs around to help get them noticed and find their right families. So the two puppies we have here, how did you get these puppies?
Yeah, so we actually saw a Facebook post in Victoria about them. Their owner, she had the mom and the dad, and they accidentally got together because she hadn't been able to get them fixed yet, and had 9 puppies. And they obviously got really sick really quickly because she couldn't afford vet care and she didn't know what to do with them. And so somebody had told her she needed to have them put down. And we saw the post. They were trying to look for a cost-effective vet to put them all down. So we got in contact with her. There are 5 left. So unfortunately, 4 passed away, 2 before we got involved and 2 after. But the 5 left are doing really well. They look a lot better. It's hard to tell, but they look much better than they did.
Yeah, I saw some of the first pictures from when you first found them, and you can see that they're looking a lot better and definitely full of energy, that puppy
Yeah.
energy right now.
Yeah, we have 4 boys and 1 girl.
So can you talk a little bit about the mange condition and what it means for them?
Yeah, so
Puppy bite.
there are 2 different types of mange. They have Demodex, which is not contagious. So that's good news. So like for their fosters who have other dogs, they don't have to worry about their dogs catching it. Um, but yeah,
It's a mite and it's killed off with prevention. So they just had some Simparica Trio and that was enough to start the healing process for them. So we'll just repeat that monthly and it should take care of it.
yeah. So they just kind of smell funny and are itchy for a little bit.
Aw.
Well, their hair goes back.
Doesn't make them any less cute. They're so adorable. Do we know what breed of dog?
The mom definitely looks like a pit bull. The dad, I don't know. He could have pit bull, could have like lab in him.
Okay. Either way, they're adorable.
Yeah, they'll probably be like 50 pounds fully grown.
About 50 pounds fully grown. Okay. And there's 5 of the 9 left. And so they're not quite ready for foster yet. Or are they ready for foster but not adoption? Or are they ready for either?
So they're ready for foster. So they're with fosters right now. We actually could use 2 more fosters just so they're not in pairs since they're getting a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
As far as adoption, yeah, we don't have them officially listed. That doesn't exactly mean that if somebody, was interested, we wouldn't turn them away at this point. But yeah, they aren't officially on our website.
And when you find animals, how do you determine if they're ready for adoption or if they need more time and with foster? Like what's the determining factor generally on adopting and finding the families?
Typically, if their vetting is complete, we do have a few dogs that are just, shy or need training. So if that's the case, we kind of defer to the trainer. But typically we're pretty lucky. We have pretty mild mannered dogs, and it's just once their vetting is done, they're ready to go.
Okay. And what is the general cost of vetting? So you said that was about 80% of the cost of the each pet. So what does that generally run?
Usually around $400, sometimes a little more depending on their condition. But with all their vaccines, spay, neuter, monthly prevention, microchip, we're usually around 400.
And that's, I assume, that's for a healthy dog.
Right.
Yeah. So like there'll be more.
Yeah. So a healthy dog, it costs about $400. And then until they're adopted, the rescue also takes care of any feed that a foster has or any other expenses that might come up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can provide any supplies that people need, so like crates, toys, whatever.
Okay. And how many dogs do you have available right now aside from these 5 puppies?
Oh, sorry, were you going to answer that? Oh. Right now we only have, I think, 3 dogs and 1 cat. So we can't find fosters,
kitty.
especially since it's summer and people aren't around. So that's been our challenge. We've posted a few times because, we could take a few more on. We just don't have anywhere to put them at this point.
So what, so your ability to find fosters limits your ability to intake.
Yes.
So what I noticed also that there's a lot of posts about, courtesy posts about other dogs. And that's just another way that you work with other rescues to help ensure dogs get noticed.
Sometimes for rescues, a lot of the courtesy posts are community members. So if people email us saying they need to rehome their dog, that's typically what we offer them. So we say, you're still responsible. You're paying for vetting, but we'll list them and try to, find them a home because we have access to Pet Finder and things like that. We just can't take them on because we don't have a place to put them.
Okay. So the courtesy rescue our courtesy posts are usually families that can no longer care for their dog for
Right.
whatever reason and
Or
are
if
looking.
found,
Oh,
if they found
scary
a dog
noises.
too, we're trying to help. We just don't have a place.
Just don't have the spaces. Hi, baby. Hi. Oh, the kisses. Oh, you're so playful and full of energy. You wouldn't, if it wasn't for the missing fur, you'd
Yeah.
never know that they were sick.
Right.
No.
They're doing so good. So is there anything else you would like to make sure that people are aware of? What goes into being involved with the rescue and or anything.
I mean, I think just the biggest thing is we can't do our job unless we have volunteers and fosters. So that's just the one thing that we really want to stress to people. And it's scary to foster. I think a lot of people worry about, getting attached or just that it's going to be too much work. So also, we need sitters a lot. So if you're not sure about fostering, but just want to try, for a few nights, that's also an option and a good way to get involved.
So even if you can't necessarily foster, if you can watch another dog for just a couple of days, then
Yeah,
that's
really helpful.
also very helpful. So there's plenty of ways aside from donating. You can foster or babysit. What about just offering to dog walk, or is that mostly for just shelters or?
We've had a few dogs that have needed, just because their foster is gone all day, that have needed walks. So it's not out of the question. It's not as common, but we do sometimes need that kind of thing. Or if we have events, we sometimes just need help getting dogs to events.
Or even to vet appointments. Sometimes the foster has work and isn't available. So just someone to drive to a vet appointment.
Okay. And for anyone who might want to volunteer, what would be the best way to contact you to be able to volunteer?
We have a volunteer form on our website. So it's savingsouthtexas.com, and there's a volunteer tab. If you can't find that, we have an Instagram and Facebook, both just Saving South Texas, or you can email. It's savingsouthtexas@gmail.com.
All right. So, and I'll put all of those links below the video as well and make sure that you have it. So if you do want to help volunteer, then you can contact Saving South Texas and you can either pet sit for a couple of days or help give a foster a walk or just, other ways you can help that if you don't have the monetary ability to help, donating time is always helpful. Hi, guys. And is there anything else? Or did we kind of cover it all, I think?
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. And again, sorry, they're distracting. I can't help it. They're so cute. So we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. And again, we're here with Allison and Caitlin from Saving South Texas, which is a volunteer-run rescue here in Austin, Texas. And have a good day.